Thank you very much to the organizers of this event, Osez le Féminisme and others, also for their kind invitation to speak today. I'm very sorry that I couldn't be there with you in person. First of all, let me say that as some of you may know, the mandate has had a long-standing interest and engagement on the issue of online violence, otherwise known also as technology facilitated violence against women and girls, as well as obviously the issue of online sexual exploitation of women and girls. And in a nutshell, what the mandate has said is that, of course, there's a very clear gendered dimension to exploitation and violence of women and girls because they are women and girls, both offline and online. By now, I'm sure many of you are aware of the report that I produced last year on the issue of prostitution and violence against women and girls. You will probably also know that there I have also addressed the issue of pornography, which I consider to be a form of online sexual exploitation of women and girls. Now, in that report, what I said is that pornography is very much part of prostitution. It is, in fact, filmed prostitution. And there are a number of reasons why I say that. First of all, in terms of its characteristics and in terms of also manifestations, it shares everything with physical prostitution. Both are actually a system of exploitation, violence, and abuse of women and girls. Also, the actors that are involved are the same. You have the women and girls that are prostituted, whether offline or online. You have the pimps, those that benefit from the exploitation, abuse, and sale of the bodies of women and girls, whether it's individual pimps, whether it's businesses, including online technology, service providers, online platforms, can also be states that are pimps that benefit from the exploitation and abuse of women and girls. And the third actor is also the buyers of sexual acts. Now, I know that perhaps when it comes to pornography, we tend to think less of those that consume pornography as perpetrators of violence. And this is something I think we have to work on, not only in terms of raising awareness about the consequences of consuming pornography, in terms of violating the rights of those that are being prostituted online, but also the immense harm that this causes to these women and girls, but also to wider society. I know that internationally we have the challenge of actually thinking about pornography as a system of violence, exploitation, and abuse. Because in international discussions, in international platforms, we tend to see a separation or a distinction between harmful pornography, and that term is usually reserved for the online sexual exploitation of children. So pornography involving children is de facto seen as harmful, which is how it should be. But then when it comes to pornography involving adults, there we get into much more murky territories because there often the suggestion is that you can distinguish between what is consented, safe, empowering, entertaining pornography that falls within the realm of one's right of freedom of expression, freedom of thought. And then you have pornography involving adults that may involve violations of rights because the person is trafficked, or because they have been coerced, or because they have been subjected to violence. My view on this, following also the inquiry I did for the report, is that all forms of pornography are harmful because, as I said, they de facto result in egregious violations of human rights, uh, rights that are fundamental, that involve the safety, dignity, humanity, and equality of those that are being prostituted in pornography, but also because some of the violations, actually many of these violations, are so serious that they amount to grave human rights violations. They involve things like, as I said, trafficking, slavery or slavery-like situations, arbitrary or unlawful killing, torture, inhumane and degrading treatment. The list really can go on. I also look in the report, obviously, on the harms of pornography, not just for the individuals that are involved, but also for society as a whole. And it is very clear to me that we cannot ever pretend to achieve gender equality if we normalize the consumption of pornography. The harmful impact on society as a whole are very well documented. We know that the consumption of pornography normalizes violence. It normalizes violent and degrading acts, in fact, depicts them as entertainment. And it also normalizes the commodification of women and girls and their sexualization, and in fact reduces their value to sexual desirability. Not to mention that the consumption of pornography then also further feeds these unrealistic expectations that we all can have or form about sex and sexual relationships, about our own bodies, about relationships. And it often also leads to a greater sense of entitlement in men and boys. There's also studies that show that those who consume pornography will seek out to enact the scenes they see, which are often degrading and violent in real life. So it can lead to increased aggression during sexual acts. And it can lead also men and boys to seek out physical prostitution. And therefore, it's not surprising that in recent years, we have seen an increase in the number of minors, boys, committing serious sexual offenses, including rape and gang rape. Now, for example, when we talk also about strangulation and how common that is, and we know that a number of cases have led also to the death of the girls or women involved. But what really concerns me about normalizing the consumption of pornography is that it perpetrates these harmful stereotypes that are formed about girls and women and about their value. It internalizes for them and for society that the worth of women and girls lies almost predominantly in being sexually desired, and that the most viable, quickest, best, most suitable way for them to gain income or make a living is to sell their bodies and to be pornified. Now, from a legal perspective, and in my report, I urge states to consider, therefore, pornography for what it is, for being this system of exploitation and violence, and therefore respond to the human rights consequences that pornography creates. I have also requested states to adopt comprehensive regulation to target pornographic content and to explicitly criminalize its production, its possession, and its hosting, as it violates fundamental rights, including to life, dignity, and safety. So this means that digital platforms, porn sites, any tool or platform that provides access to it must be held accountable for facilitating, participating, and promoting abuse, exploitation, and violence. And given the very serious implications, what I'm also saying is that we cannot expect, therefore, any meaningful progress to be achieved if we only abide by voluntary guidelines, or if we impose only voluntary guidelines, particularly on businesses. This will never result in effective regulation. That, of course, means that states must be willing to forfeit the profit that they make from hosting the headquarters of porn sites and sites that host sexually abusive and exploitative material. And I repeat again that I believe that we have to move towards a total ban because we really cannot distinguish between harmful and harmless forms of pornography. Now, in the immediate term, there is a number of actions that can be taken. One of them has to be raising the minimum age for accessing pornographic content. Right now, anybody, including children, can access it very easily. So the minimum age for accessing pornography must be raised to 18 or 21. We must also step up the education, awareness raising, not just in schools, but also to wider society about the, I would say, criminal responsibilities of consuming pornography, and also about gender equality and the importance also of ensuring access to age-appropriate sex education. Because right now, boys and girls get most of their sex education from porn. And we know that this is really not sex education at all. And then finally, we should really equip also young people with real practical skills that allow them to navigate the media and understand the difference between what is real and what is not, so that they can also navigate all the dangers of that world. So I will stop here. Of course, I did not go into details on other forms of online sexual exploitation. There's a lot that can be said about the sharing of private images, about the deep fakes. That probably needs a separate presentation or conversation from my side. And in any case, I'm sure you will also be discussing that in this forum. So once again, thank you very much, and I wish you a good discussion.